do this, man.
Oh, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa,
I love the
whoa.
sound. I love the
Oh yeah.
sound. It's the Clear Vision podcast. It's yours truly, the host, John. But everybody on here is the host. I don't like taking that role. We got my boy Trevo,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One time.
my boy Eli,
What up? What up? What up? What up?
and the man himself at all times, Brian J on the board.
Here on the board one time.
Yes, sir. And this, like I said, this is the Clear Vision podcast, man. We just come to you, just expressing who we are, how we feel.
Right.
And today I'm very excited. But before we get into that, Trevor, where can they find us at?
You can find us at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, of course, here at YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, bro. We're growing. Our subscribers keep climbing and climbing. So shout out to the listeners, shout out to the visionaries. It's working. It seems to be working.
Shout out to
Absolutely.
them.
Absolutely.
Eli, bro, if they want to get in contact with us,
Mhm.
how can they do that?
Hey, man, we got this thing called the listening letter. It's a big part of our show, man. If you want to comment on an episode or last season's episode, or if you got a topic that you want to bring up and ask us, you got a question for one of us, let us know in that listening letter, man. How do you get to that listening letter? Go to clearvisionpodcast@gmail.com, clearvisionpodcast@gmail.com.
Clear Vision Pod.
Clearvisionpod@gmail.com.
Come on.
Clearvisionpod@gmail.com. Yeah, man, I'm sorry. And hit us up there, or if you want to, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. If you want to just leave your comment or your listener letter there, let us know that it's your listener letter, and you can just leave it there. Easy as that. So please just hit us up, man. We need the content for the show. It's super important. It's how we connect with the community.
Big facts, big facts. And follow us on our Instagram. Eli
That's
shouted
booming.
it out.
That's
Yes.
booming.
We had a good question on there today. You know what I'm saying? But our Instagram is at Clear Vision Pod. We also have a Cash App that y'all can send money to.
Come on.
Now, not to get
There we-
too deep
there
into
we go.
donations and
Mhm.
everything like that.
Right.
Money is a currency. What you give comes back to you double if given with a pure heart.
Full
It says
circle.
it in the Holy Scripture, but I can honestly say it works. You know what I'm saying? Just do it out the kindness of your heart, man. By you donating, you're helping grow the podcast. You're helping catch more visionaries on, and therefore you're changing the world.
Mhm.
There you go. There you go.
But that's without further ado, though, man. I'm very excited to bring on our guest, man. I haven't known him very long, but I've had one conversation with him. He's a legend.
Mhm.
He is what we need in our community. He's what we need. He's a very good image of what I would like to see other people follow.
Right.
Of course,
Right.
don't become him, of course, but the ways he moved, just like Jesus. You don't want to be Jesus, but you want to move how Jesus moved.
Mhm.
He's Jesus now, but he sets a great example for all of us to follow, especially a father, but especially somebody who's very involved in their community. I'm gonna introduce Wesley with Healthy Start. If I can have Wesley come through. I tried to give you a good intro. I hope you liked it.
Yeah, well, that was a bit much, but
I need you to do my intro.
yeah. So, but go ahead. It's
No, but Wesley, you're a visionary, so you know how we always start our episodes off. We talk about our last 7 days. And with you being a guest, we would like for you to go first.
okay.
If that's okay with you. How
Oh
was it?
man, my last week, man. It was what it was.
Right.
And, I had my little challenges, and but as we go through life, we learn, that hey, to embrace the challenges, and so
Come on.
you do what you have to, man, and you say a little prayer in the morning, say one at noon, say one in the evening, just stay in tune.
There we
So,
go.
that's where I was at, and that's what I was doing, through the week. I like to fish, didn't get to do that, but walked the dog and stayed out of trouble.
There you go. There you go.
Good answer.
Good answer. Good answer.
I love that, man. I love that. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, whoever wants to follow up, I want to go last. I got some big news.
Oh yeah, I'll be quick, bro.
I'm at the
I had
Trev.
I had a good week, man. Just spending time with the family, bro. It's so awesome. You know, I went to the city this past weekend and just kicked it with all, you know, my family and then my wife's side of the family. And, you know, just I'm really super busy here lately, but you know, wise man once said, I'd rather have a lot on my plate than nothing on my plate. You know? So,
There you go.
I'm grateful for my life. I'm thankful for it. And yeah. Talk to me though. Talk to me.
Bro, what's the countdown for the wedding date? Do you know off the top of your head?
39 days.
On the spot.
Came in clutch.
I gotta fact check you.
Yeah, BJ. I don't appreciate
Somewhere around
that,
there, man.
BJ.
Somewhere
Yeah.
around there. Ah, no, man.
That's good, man. Well, I'll pick up at the Trev, man. I actually got a little sick. I very rarely get sick. I probably get sick twice a year. But I had a little sore throat. That's all, man. But I'm just glad my voice is back because I literally couldn't speak. You know, I know I spoke to John over the weekend, and he was laughing at me. But you know, that's what love do, man. But I really couldn't speak that well. But I'm just glad today is literally the best day that I've had my voice back. And it's a reason, you know. We know
you
what
look
we
great
do today. Thank you, man. I
don't
just
know about that Cowboys hat, but yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, BJ. Every time I wear it, BJ got to say something, you know. But it's all right though. We all love. Okay. But no, yeah, I had a good week, man. Even still spent time with the family. Did a little Easter celebration, a little pre-Easter celebration with Kai and stuff like that, and took him to a little carnival and stuff. So, but yeah, no, we had a blast, man. Not too much though, because you know I was kind of just trying to play the crib. A lot of cough drops around me. So that's it for me though, man. BJ, what you got going on, man?
Praise God. That was great answer. The best answer. All right. So my last 7 days, like I said on last podcast, my dad's birthday. We had his 50th birthday party, so that was a good experience. My boy John came through. We definitely appreciate that. It was good vibes. Quick question: do y'all got beef? Like, have you ever had beef with a family member?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not beef, but you know,
Right. Just making sure our family's not dysfunctional, because it was, you know,
That's normal. Bro.
it was a couple people in the audience. I was like, but I was like, how my loyalty ride is like, if you got beef with like my mom or my pops, that beef just carries over to me. Like, when they say, hey, bitch, how you doing? I'm like,
man, I don't know about that when it comes to family.
oh yeah, praise God. But my week's been great. Yeah, God is good. Go ahead, John.
Man,
That's about the great news. Forget what I'm talking about.
well, also, y'all, if y'all want to see a recap of BJ's Saturday, a vlog will be up on the Clear Vision podcast channel for y'all to tune into.
There we go.
that.
We're
We're bringing y'all content, man. That's
content.
What we do. We're bringing
Healthy.
y'all content, healthy, real, most of all, real content. So make sure, y'all, after y'all finish this podcast, go tune into BJ's vlog. BJ, what is it? 7 minutes?
That's about it. Yeah, 7 minutes.
It's a very entertaining.
Great. Yeah, it's very entertaining, I will say.
So y'all make sure y'all go tune in that, like, and all that stuff. But my 7 days, man, I'm just speaking into the world right now, bro. By the time the visionaries hear this, I will be a homeowner.
Come on.
Okay. All right.
Congratulations, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Congratulations, man.
First, I want to shout out my mom because she sold me the house, which is a big deal. I just want to speak on that, bro.
Talk to us, man.
Buying a home is the first step of generational wealth.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Because now KO will have a house to live in whenever he turns 18. Whenever he wants to move. This house I plan to keep it in the family, rent it out when I die. Hopefully this house can rent out for $2,500 a month because I don't plan on dying no time soon. 10 years money, the house is gonna be paid off.
Yeah.
All that. So that's gonna be money going into my family's or my legacy's pocket, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't gonna be the only house, but it's a start, man. I just want to say I'm very grateful from for like these steps that I've been able to take, man.
Yeah.
I started off in college in a dorm, sharing a room. Then the next step in college was getting my own room, but I was sharing a dorm. Then the next step was getting a duplex that was $350 a month. And it was $350 a month.
I've been over there. It was blessed though. You was blessed.
I was blessed. I had a roof, you know what I'm saying?
Small
But
beginnings. Don't despise.
exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
And my girl been with me since that. So you know what I'm saying? It's after that, you know, I leveled up a little bit. Then now I got an apartment after I graduated. Now I'm in a house, man. I just want to say I'm very grateful for literally
praise God.
Good answer.
That's good, bro.
Yeah, that's
I love
the
it.
best answer I heard all day.
Gratitude, man. That gratitude is infectious, bro.
Man.
That's
Oh
good.
yeah.
Hey man, let me tell you something real quick about buying a house.
Yes, sir.
Back in the old days, when you didn't have property, you hadn't arrived. See, but when you get before you got that house, when you get the house, you become a king. But before you're a prince. So you're going from being a prince to being a king.
Yeah.
That's what property do. It makes you have that value.
Wow.
There you go. There you
Because
go.
you're building a kingdom. That's your kingdom.
Woo, y'all talking. Y'all fine today.
Now that's,
Kingdom.
man, it's a blessing. I appreciate
And John, and like that has
That's
to be
one of the hard.
bro. That has to be overwhelming because it's like that is the house you like that you grew up in, bro.
We grew up in this house, man. Just my brother passed in this house. It's a very emotional
Sentimental.
connection with the house.
Yeah.
But it was always my times being here a lot more was very it was some good things. It wasn't always good, but it was some good stuff and good memories in this house. And I think the stars just aligned at the perfect time, bro.
There you go.
That we were able to get it. And so I just know it was meant to be. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just real grateful. We got a good deal. We black owned, not black owned, but our black lender. You know what I'm saying? Buying from a black woman. Keeping the money in the circle, bro. I don't know if the appraiser was black. I hope he was. So I wouldn't be when he came, but
Probably not.
no, man. Y'all know me, bro. I try to keep it all black as much as I can. But yeah, man. So
basically, long story short, the kickbacks and the pods gonna be at our house now. Praise God.
Let's go.
my house,
Great answer.
Let's get it.
at my house.
So,
That's funny.
No, but that's my 7. Well, that ain't really my 7 days.
That's exciting, bro.
But that's not. It's
That's
exciting
exciting, bro.
news. You know?
that's a
Happy
lifetime.
for you. Proud of you, bro.
Man. But now, man, Wesley, we're gonna put the spotlight on you for a few minutes. And you know, you started cooking, and I got excited again.
Well, y'all didn't set me up. Y'all should.
No, but
good.
I want you to go ahead and talk about healthy start though.
Yeah, y'all make a brother feel comfortable. You know,
That's good. I'm
Good,
glad.
bro.
really good. You know,
Good.
but it's an issue that's been around for hundreds of years. You know, and it's infant mortality. It's the idea and it's the understanding that when it comes down to your kids, if your kids are dying, then our population is dying. You know, so you have to understand that, and within that first year of a child's life, that's crucial. And so infant mortality, it's based on the idea that if that child survived, if your child can survive through for the first year. So, it's like anything else, you look at that some things have a crucial point and where it's either going to make it or not, and so, really that's where we at right now, far as our community, far as when it comes down to, the elderly, the social economics and all of that. And so this is just one big factor. And so we try to work with families to educate them, to make the difference so that they can understand what it's all about. And it's all about families, but it's all about our children, because like I said, when if our children live, then we live. And so I want to make a quote by Nelson Mandela. He said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." And so that's what we are all about. We're all about educating and getting, you know, uh, fathers, mothers, just the community to understand that, hey, we just can't, sit back and not do what we supposed to do. Do what, be the people that we supposed to be the role models. You guys are, like role models to take that position to say, hey, we're about family. We're about, this institution, and we're about our kids. So I commend you guys on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's why was glad to be able to be on here today. It's a crisis in America when you think about it, because fathers are not there for their children. Right. And so let me do some of these statistics, and then y'all can kind of blow it up if you want to. Okay, without the father, with the absence of the father, there's a 4 times a greater risk of poverty for the children that grows up tomorrow. It's also more likely that they'll have behavior problems, and you see that in school. They always saying that our kids have behavior problems, and so that's a weapon that can be used to keep your children, man, from thriving or having a better quality of life. You gotta understand this, because most of the time we kind of set up for failure, and I'm not gonna get into all of that, but it's a lot to this. More likely, without the father in the home, your child is gonna go to prison. Especially the boys, they are more likely to commit crimes. And you guys, you might, speak on this stuff from time to time, but it's something that you have to be conscious of, and you have to be aware of, and you have to, know how that we affect and how we can change, by knowing what's going on and how important it is for you to be there for your children and for your family. 7 times more likely your daughters are to become pregnant, because they don't have you as a role model to be the person that they look to give them, most of the time, you take a female, she just want to be what? She just want to be accepted.
Right.
She wants somebody like her dad. And so, without you being in her life, hey, she's going to end up being 7 times more likely to get pregnant. And then they are more likely to face abuse and neglect. And you hear about domestic violence. And so it's all because they don't have that role model. I give you an example. Me and my wife, the wife of my children, we never did argue in front of the kids. We always, carried ourselves in a way so that they wouldn't be stressed or they wouldn't be traumatized by seeing mom and dad, having an episode of a conflict, right? So that was important for them. And then they 2 times more likely to become obese. And you see obesity in our community, and it's all because, of depression, oppression, and, it's about the brother, he spoke about dysfunctionalism, right? And so, this being dysfunctional can make you become depressed. And because you're trying to figure things out, you don't know why this is this way, why this is that way, So those are some of the things that we look at. And that's why, with our program, we added a fatherhood initiative so that fathers could be educated and they could learn that what it is, the role of a father and the role of a good man. So that's pretty much, what it's about.
Right.
Yeah.
So, man, Wes, I do want to speak on a little bit of the things you were saying, especially early on. Well, first off, speaking on the black fathers that's not in the kid's life. I'll speak on it. I believe it's all systematic, and it becomes a cycle. I was just looking at some just some statistics as well, and it says 1 in 9 black fathers, or 1 in 9 children have a father that's incarcerated, compared to our white counterparts. 1 in 57 have a parent incarcerated. I always talk about how the black population is one of the smallest, but we make up majority of the prisons. But then I also speak on how I believe I spoke with Trevin on it a little while ago about how in Section 8 mothers can't have a father in the household, or they can't keep that house. It's just so many systems that are set up against this. And I do have a question: is how do we change a cycle that's already begun? Of course, like my brother Eli, he didn't grow up with his father in the house, so he just decided to become just a cold father. But you have other, like you were saying, if your father isn't present, you get in the streets, probably go to prison, commit crime, all of that stuff. How do you reach those
communities?
Yeah.
Was that to me or somebody else?
No, that's to you.
Oh, well, man, I believe that education is the key. It's a scripture in the Bible that say we perish for lack of knowledge. And so you have to realize that, we are creatures that learn. And
right.
So, you have to teach. You have to you have to give people the knowledge. Knowledge is powerful. And so that's what it's all about. That's what we try to do. If you can learn how, we teach about communication, we teach about dealing with conflict, just the idea, just those statistics that I spoke should trigger somebody, should have an effect to make you think.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you might not be able to impact the whole world, but if you can implement and implement certain things that you learn, that'll make a difference. Because just like you guys together, if it's like a domino effect,
right.
If you give people knowledge is power, and knowledge can change things. So that's how you do it.
Right.
A lot of people, they're down on the education system, but that is the key to success. I'm like Eli, I didn't have a dad, so I hit the streets. I was out in the, doing everything and anything, and I ran with the wrong guys. But then I came to that place that I made a decision that, hey, I didn't want to let that take me. I seen too many men get pulled down, too many people get messed up, and I didn't want that to happen. So
when you go ahead, John.
Well, I was curious about how old were you whenever that it finally clicked for you?
Well, when you running fast, man, you can come to a quick revelation early.
Right.
When you see things, when you're out there and you see things happen. Fortunately, my mother, she was a Christian woman, so just listening to her and talking to her made the difference. But I think I was like in my early 20s.
Okay.
But I had experienced a lot of things, and so my dad, he was an alcoholic, and so that was one thing that was always in me when I saw him as a little boy, and I seen him, in that state of being messed up. I said, hey, that's not going. And he wasn't there for me. Well, my thing is, hey, if I ever have kids, I'm gonna be there for my kids. So that was kind of, my drive. That was what I always had inside of me, that I didn't want to be like my dad. So he kind of helped me out.
There you go. Yeah.
Right.
Same perspective.
It's perspective.
Yeah, same perspective.
Trevin, I heard you had something you was about to.
Oh yeah, so I was, I mean, I seek wisdom, and I definitely hear it just kind of pouring out of you. So I mean, I do appreciate the game. I wanted to ask a question about whenever you had your child or your children. How many kids do you have?
I got 6 boys and I have 4 girls.
See, I'm trying to get on that.
Oh my goodness! Hey, you got a team. You got a team, man.
I got a team.
Well, so whenever you had your like your first child,
Yeah.
What changed, or how did you grow from that, like that moment, or after you had a child for a little bit, like where did that, because like for me it just like flipped the switch. So I kind of wanted to get your perspective on like when you have a child, what did that do for you?
Well, it flipped the switch because then you think you realize that hey, that's a responsibility.
Right.
So you look at that responsibility and you realize that that's a child in the world, and if you don't help that child, if you're not there for that child, then that child stands a chance of not living.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
that's,
go ahead.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say, like, with this whole like just issue with men not being in the child's life, I think whenever we have a child, we need to highlight that, right? Because I feel like that should do that for every man that has a child. I feel like it should force them to take that step and understand the importance of raising a life. Like, this is a life that depends on you to survive and be and grow and embrace that, and that's how I looked at it for my son. And I think it's a heavy topic, but I'm glad we're touching on it. And yeah, I mean, it's great,
Man, and I do want to highlight, I often get in a debate with my white counterparts on certain occasions, and a lot of times they point out that black fathers aren't in their kids' life. I do, like I said, I want to highlight that. I don't remember the statistic; it was a minute ago, but I believe it's over 75% of black fathers that aren't incarcerated are in their kids' lives. It's kind of a common thing to say. It's not. And again, like I said, I'm a firm believer. I hate using that as an excuse, but I don't believe this system was built for us. And again, example, sometimes, like, I know people that would like to be in their kid's life, or maybe is doing something they think is best for their kids. What we can look at it and be like, bro, just go get a job. But it's not that simple for some people. I for example, I know a dude. He can work a 9-to-5. I can say he can work a 9-to-5, but he's so used to being in a lifestyle that causes him to make quick money quick. Every day he's making some money. And he's gotten in trouble for it before. But how do you tell somebody how do you convince somebody that the cards they were dealt, that don't know better, that the cards they were dealt is
hurting them?
Yeah, it's hurting them. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times I try not to speak on stuff I don't know. I just try to empathize mostly and see and try to understand. And speaking with him, he's doing everything he can for his kids. It's just the wrong way to go about it.
But John, I really feel like that's the switch I'm talking about, bro. When you have a child, you should become more conscious and logical and know that I shouldn't be doing this because this puts me at risk to not be in my child's life.
Right.
And I think that's what we're missing sometimes. Go ahead, Wesley.
I was gonna say, let me say this, make it clear. Those statistics are, for, fathers as a whole. But, and that's why knowledge is important to have, to have a knowledge of things and to know things, because, our society create barriers. Black dads are in their children's life, but our society create barriers, to keep, to make it appear and to
Exactly.
hinder that connection.
Right.
One brother said it, earlier when he was talking about Section 8 and not having a man in the home or something to that effect. You know, going to fatherhood conferences, I learned a lot. You got to understand that our society has, created, they created a system that will, when it comes down to a father being there for his kids, we bond with that child from birth. But then when that child gets ready to go to school, it's always, insisted, or it always, you have a barrier where they'll say, well, maybe going to teacher parent conferences and stuff like that, the mother will go, and you get this feeling that when you go, to take your child to school, that everybody's looking at you strange. So that makes you feel uncomfortable, and that can create a barrier.
Yeah.
I used to be a substitute teacher, and so and my kids growing up, man, I would go to their classes, I would go meet their teachers and stuff all the time, and I could feel that, I guess what you call, you feel that. Help me out, guys.
The tension.
Well, yeah, the tension, but they already got you, labeled, or
Stigma.
like you a problem,
Right.
And so, for the sake of the kids, men will just back down, and they also try to make us look aggressive, and so so we tend to back up, and we'll let our partner, your wife or whatever, let them go to school. But I encourage every man that, hey, no matter what grade your child is, go and be a part of that child's, academic life.
Amen, brother.
I think. Go ahead, John.
No, Eli Cook.
No, yeah, okay, so yeah, I was just gonna give my whole perspective on the thing, man. I think it just in that example alone, I think we all can agree that knowledge is key, and I think it all starts with us, bro, like with the Father, man. We can be the change that we want to see, no matter what the society is throwing out there. You know what I'm saying?
There we go.
If from the first place, and yes, I know we had things and challenges thrown at us as Black men, starting all the way back to slavery. You know what I mean? Yeah. But at the same time, if we keep, if we keep using those excuses, then it's kind of like when somebody fails a test. You know what I mean? When you fail a test in college, you feel bad until you get to class and you realize 90% of the people in your class failed it too. So you feel a little bit better. You know what I mean?
Right.
If we keep telling our kids these, they won't feel as bad about, going the other way or parting the other way if a father is not in the home teaching them what's real and how to take care of business. Even with whatever you want to call it, hip hop. It has had a negative effect on our kids because of us, because the fathers, hip hop entertainment, what you guys just talked about with the 75% of Black fathers, all of that stuff has had an impact only because the father is not there to correct society. You know what I'm saying? So I got, just like how we were talking about your role model being someone that you don't know, like Jay-Z or J. Cole or stuff like that. I was taught by my grandfather. I didn't have my dad in my life that often, but I was taught by my grandfather that you don't know those people. You know what I mean? And he was my grandfather was my role model. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew, right. And he taught me those certain grounds that the world and a fatherhood should be two separate things. Even society, no matter what the statistics they throw at you. So as a young kid, if you're hearing all the time that 80% of Black men, we're going to go to sell drugs and we're going to do this and do that and do this. When things start to go bad, when they do become a teenager, they just go to that because they're like, I guess this is what we do. Like, this is just, I have nothing else left. But if they had a father to tell them that, no, there's other plans that you can have. There's other directions that you can go. If this plan didn't work, it's the absence. It literally is the absence of the father is the reason why all of these are happening. It's not just hip hop's fault. It's not just the society's fault or what the white people have put on us or over us. the trap. Yeah, that stuff happened, but how long are we going to continue to let that happen? You know, we know that that's bad. You know what I mean? So if the father is there to be that role model and set his family and be that example for his family, all that other stuff they will hear, but they will know the truth because they'll be looking at a good. If you're a good father and you're doing, you know, your job and you're teaching them what you know and you know knowledge and you're educated in the sense, then your kids, even with the outside world, they should, you know the right path. They'll at least be taught the right path. Even if, you know, you can teach the kids the best and teach them everything you know and try to be perfect. But, you know, eventually your kids are going to make their own decisions. But when in doubt, when they get older, they're going to realize that, like, no, Dad, you set me up the right way. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if we keep using these excuses and not actually being present, that's the problem. If we're present, these excuses don't matter anyway. They can be fake. You know what I mean? For what you want, you can teach your kids and tell your kids, we shouldn't start, like John said last season, we shouldn't start at slavery. We shouldn't start at where, you know, at our lowest moments. You know, black dads are not in the homes. You know what I mean? The fathers, once we start being there and not just being present, you know, not being there, but actually being present and teaching our kids, man, all this other stuff does not matter.
I love it.
Other stuff, if from the right perspective, just like Wesley said, my dad was an alcoholic. I've never drunk or smoked in my life. You know what I mean? It was just perspective. It's not another kid may look at that as, you know, well, this is what men do. You know what I mean? I think it all starts with, at the end of the day, even if you were handed different cards, John, like you were mentioning with your one friend, you know, you're not a kid anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like at 11, I guess that's cool to think that, but you know, you gotta one day look at yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, the change starts with me. You know,
you got to do the opposite. You know, you looking at the negatives, but you look at the positive and you implement the positive. You know, it's like with my kids. You know, once they started, growing, then I would, instead of, you know, I would always have house, time, meetings where, you know, I would instill things into them that I knew that they needed in life. You know, I kind of went from the Bible, man, where, you know, I needed them to understand their spirituality and how that, you know, they needed that positive influence to make the difference in their life. And so that's what you know, you're right. You don't look at, you don't look at the issue, our society, at how they're holding you down, because see, the real deal is that we all are fighters. We all are warriors. But we got to know how to fight. And that's why we have our 24/7 dad classes, because we have these tools that we can talk about far as, you know, knowing how to discipline the right way. You know, I mean, most of us are, even me myself, you know, I was brought up in a hard way. So I you know, for a period, that's the way that I was with my kids till, you know, the light bulb came on.
There you go.
Right.
So, you know, and I realized that, hey, it was about, you know, educating them and getting them to see, you know, why they needed to do certain things. And a lot of times, you know, we go to work, we do what we do, we set them in front of the TV, but do we really spend time with them?
There you go.
Yeah, now we talking.
Are we really being that example to where, you know, they'll know how to talk, how to carry themselves, you know, because they're watching you. And that's what we try to do, is get you, you know, get the men to realize that, hey, you're the role model. And so you're the one that's going to make the impact. You're the one that's going to make the difference. And you're going to affect not just your own family, but you're going to affect the community.
Yeah, the community. Wow. Yeah, just in that example alone that Wesley just gave, you know, like he said, any father or anybody, not just father, anybody, any person could have been like, well, this is the way I was raised, so this is how I'm going to continue to do it, even though I see that the effect is not good. No, at some point in time, whether you're 40, whether you're 30, whether you're 22, you got to look in the mirror and be like, all right, John. Oh, BJ.
And then
BJ ain't got. Yeah, BJ ain't went.
So I was gonna say, to pick up on what both of y'all said, that fight word. I feel like, you know, for our kids, I feel like y'all know my situation. Your kids will honor the fight. Like Eli, I feel like if you knew that your dad was actually fighting, like even it might not have, came out he won, at least you would honor that fight. Like I was really trying. So it's like even with the society and what y'all say, like we can't keep using it as an excuse. I knew what society say about a dude trying to get full custody of a kid, and I still went in, got a whole attorney, paid thousands of dollars going in. Like I could care less what society.
It's for seven. It's for seven.
I can probably say this. I mean, it's on Google, but yeah, like even though what society said, like no, I'm at the fight for my son. Like that's just what it is. So it's like even though it didn't turn out my way, my son is gonna honor the fight. Like regardless, my daddy when I was 5 months, this man wanted to take me full on and take full responsibility for my whole life. So it's like sometimes like it's the fight, bro. It's like we can't keep using it as an excuse. And I think a lot of men in art, like they don't even want to, like people look at me like I'm crazy. Like why would you even do that? Like you just waste your money. I'm like, y'all mind not even there because you gotta play the long game.
Yeah,
and you gotta play the long game. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely, bro.
But praise God. I do want to clarify, Eli. This statement was more than 75% of fathers are in their sons. Black fathers are in their sons' life.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But when I speak, I also y'all know me, man. And of course, I play devil's advocate.
Oh yeah, it's your job. No, yeah.
Don't be the devil.
I think right. But I do wholeheartedly believe that if you don't know better, you don't do better. And I think that's, you just look at the ways of just punishment that's been, like Wesley was talking about, the way we discipline our kids. I grew up getting my ass whooped like with a belt, like bad. And that's just the way my pops, he got whoopings. That's how my grandma got whoopings. Like that's just, I learned from that. But it takes one of your seed to realize the things that you did wrong, because at the end of the day, your seed is just supposed to be a better version of yourself.
Right.
That's the evolution of our race. That's the evolution of our hold on, y'all. Do y'all hear the dogs barking?
A little bit. They're not loud.
You're a homeowner, right?
But I think, bro, I don't know. It's when you say excuses, Eli, I don't know, man.
Well, they become excuses. I don't want to call them just excuses, but eventually they become excuses because how long are you going to let that stop you from? It's not like you don't know. You know what I mean? It's not like you don't know selling drugs can probably end up in jail or die from selling drugs or gang banging or not being in your, and eventually it becomes excuses, bro. No matter what, just look at me, look like what BJ just said, bro. And that's a prime example. He knows that he has like a 10% chance of getting his child when his child is 5 months, but he didn't let that stop him, because in the long term, his son 7 is gonna know. He's gonna be like, oh no, me and my dad good. No matter.
The reason I have the stance that I have is because there's people out there. For example, Big Meech. Y'all have heard of I'm Big Meech, Larry Hoover, hallelujah, Rick Ross. Big Meech is a real man in Detroit. He was one of the biggest drug dealers. His son right now is not carrying on his legacy as a drug dealer, but he appreciates what his dad went through to provide for their family, no matter the circumstance, no matter what his father had to go through and what his father's still going through right now. That's what I'm saying. It may not be the smartest in our eyes because we know better, but you have to think about the people that don't and are literally just doing that to feed their family. Because when you get a felony on your record, the best job you can get is Waffle House, probably. Or a trucking job. But you can't just walk anywhere and just be like, hey, here's my application. Because once they see an F on there, they like, no, we not messing with you. And that's what my friend is struggling with. I tell him, go get a job, go open him. He said, but I can't make no money. I can't do this.
Right.
I can't. If I'm selling drugs, I could go make a sale and be back home with my son. Hopefully.
Yeah. Can I Go ahead. Well, just in that example, bro. Education, bro. Even if you have a felony, my job, you start off at $20 an hour, bro. Mm-hmm. You'll be able to take care of business with $20. We hire felons.
That's what I'm saying.
Know what I mean?
We gotta think. We gotta think about.
I need that information.
We gotta think about people when it's interesting, bro. When you get institutionalized multiple times, we're not on the same. We don't think the same. We don't move the same. Like I've heard stories when you go to prison, you don't even mess with nobody of a different race. Literally.
Right. Yeah.
When you come back into the real world, it's a culture shock that a white person is actually talking to you and the way they're talking to you.
Can I say this?
Go ahead.
Okay. Hey, one thing we have to realize is that, you know, when I'm with you because in our society, people get traumatized.
Exactly.
You know, and the trauma, when you get traumatized, then now you're dealing with not just, you know, trying to see that person doing things in a normal sense, but then you're dealing with mental illness.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because he's functioning from a traumatized position.
Right.
So it's difficult to get him to be able to, you know, to come to the norm of society when he's been, you know, damaged.
Right.
And so that's the thing that we have to be able to understand, you know. And so both of you got a good point. And, you know, depending on, you know, the situation, you could look at it from Eli's position and you could look at it from yours. But, you know, like I said, the whole thing of it is that in this society, people get damaged. And so you're dealing with trying to help that person be able to come from that point of being damaged to seeing that, hey, he can function and he can make it, you know, if he put forth that effort.
Right.
So do you,
go ahead.
I got a question for you. Do you think like, okay, so how does that traumatize and like, how does that start? Like, do you think that it is possible to still have that happen to you with a father in your life, but if the father is present, if they do grow up in a healthy home where two people are loving each other and raising their kids the best they can, like, do you think that that's preventable? I should say more preventable when the father is present.
For the stages of development and for a child, yes, I think it do make a difference because that child, I teach a session on, it's called attachment. And so if that child get the right attachment, you in his life, he's able to hug you, he's able to, you're there for him, then that makes a lot of difference. Yeah. And he can deal with trauma a lot better.
Yeah, that's the kind of point that I was getting at. Not to say like, you know, like I said, John, like not to say that like, you know, it's just an easy switch for the people that are doing that. Like, you know, I've known people in those situations and stuff like that. All I'm saying is in the beginning, at the start, if fathers are there, because we know they haven't been, you know what I mean? It is what it is. If fathers are there, that's the difference in those situations. That's all. That's the point I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
You know?
I just, like I said, of course it's my job to make, but right. I'm also big, bro. I'm like, y'all know me. I'm big on trying to understand. I look deep on why, like, bro, why can't you do this? Why don't you choose to do this? If you know this will happen, why you still? And I've had those conversations with him. Yeah. His pops was there. Now the question is, you know, how early was he supposed to be there, or how often was he supposed to be there?
Can I put something out there real quick?
What was Pop teaching you anything? Was he being that example?
And I think it was too late.
Can I put something out there real quick, John?
Go ahead, Trev. Go ahead.
So I do want to push the importance of, I feel you, whenever you're in certain situations, you have to do what you got to do. That's what we feel as men. You know what I mean? But when you have a child, that child is looking up to you, bro. And that's why I think you need to do all that you can to get on a righteous path, because let's say that he stays in the streets and he stays clean. Once his son or his child starts to realize what his daddy was doing, we're his model.
It's just
so that
another
could
piece.
easily bleed into his life. You know what I mean? Just naturally, especially if he's a good father and he's like, supporting them in their form. But it's like, you got to think, okay, how am I, what is the model that I'm trying to create for my child?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that. No, I don't
Yeah.
disagree. But I just say like it clicks different times, bro. He has a 7-year-old as his oldest and a 3-year-old as his youngest.
Right.
But he was incarcerated, I want to say 5 years of that. Now we think about five years ago, bro, we weren't even drinking yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, it was high school.
Yeah, but now just imagine your son 2 when you get locked up. Now he's 7. Now he barely talking. He's talking like Jaden was, saying just sup or hi. You know what I'm saying? He's not putting full sentences. You come back to see him again, he playing the game, playing Fortnite.
He's chilling.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Is I just always try to think from their side. It's like, man, and he may feel that guilt that he wasn't able to provide for his kids. So
Right.
he won't get it the way he know. And then you gotta think, like, he probably grew up in that household. Man, it's when his parents teach him how to sell drugs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how do you convince somebody that that grew up knowing more than me about the street life? You know what I'm saying?
That's heavy, bro. I mean,
some stuff just take God, bro. Some stuff.
I was waiting for
at a situation, bro. At a situation to where you're at a certain age, bro. Your mama, like I said, even if, like in John's example, say your parents did sell drugs and they didn't go to jail and they did teach you, so now you like, man, my parents are great people. And what if they? I mean, not saying that they bad people, you know what I mean? But what if you be like, man, yeah, I'm gonna do this too. You know what I'm saying? Like, at some point in time, it really just takes God, bro. But you have to. The thing with God, people think that God is gonna find them. That's the case, but you gotta accept too. You know what I mean? You gotta be accepting and wanting that. And it's just, man,
and lean not on your own understanding, because that probably won't make sense to him in that moment.
Absolutely.
Like the numbers, like in this moment, the numbers ain't adding up. Like, I don't know. That's when you gotta. And I was waiting for somebody to say it, but yeah.
No, here's the deal. You being the devil's advocate, man. See, you should pray for those individuals more so, because you see that, you see that aspect. You see, that issue. You see, how that person is functioning. So, to me, that says that, hey, you really, understand. So you have the ability to go to God and say, hey, God, you see this man now, he's messed up. You help him out.
Right.
That's your responsibility, because, you see that,
situation.
And that goes back to what we talked about last episode, man. Once you're able to protect your house, and you've been protecting your house successfully, and your wife and your kids, and raising that, now you can protect your community, protect your brother to the left, to the right. You know what I mean? You can pass that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just all, but some situations do just take God. But hey, why don't you take them to church? You know what I mean? It just, we can help. We can help our brothers. Well, not you, John.
I'll take the church, bro.
Yeah.
Put me on, man.
No, but
check this out, man. You finna get this house. You're gonna be a king. So that means you rule the geographical area of where that house is at. So that means that you're gonna make that impact, and everything that's in that area have to come subject to you. If you are in that place to take on that, that role or that responsibility, that authority, because now you say that you're in Christ, so you sitting in a heavenly place above all principalities and powers. So that means that who is the high power in that geographical area? You. So pray for that neighborhood.
Come on, man. God,
it's all, I mean, the power. You got the power, man.
And one thing I will say that Wesley speaks on heavily is education and male influence. I stand firmly on this. I believe we need more black male teachers at school. Somewhere where that kid that doesn't have a father in the household, he's going to get that, especially elementary school. In second grade, I had Mr. Brown when I went to Marcus Garvey Charter School on the east side of Oklahoma City. He had cornrows and tattoos, but he was the example. My pops didn't have tattoos. My pops didn't have cornrows. He's been basically bald. Mr. Brown, he was the first time I seen a black male actually discipline me outside of my father and outside of my like coaches and stuff like that. But my pops was always present. My pops never missed a game. He never missed. Well, he missed one. Like he averaged like one a season. You know, that ain't too bad compared to what Eli. You know how Eli was telling me, because Eli changed my perspective on all that too. But I think we also need to penetrate, man, our school system. Just like, you know, what Wesley's doing is kind of outside of school. But one thing you can't dodge is your homeroom class when you go to your elementary.
That is real.
You have to be there. And a lot of times, like we just see, you know, it's mostly women. I don't know too many black male that are actual teachers, not coaches, teachers. And,
right.
And I do kind of, Wesley, what do you think about that?
I think you're definitely right, man, because like I say, it's me being, when I used to be a substitute teacher, it made the difference in the school. I knew how to approach, you know, our people and the kids, and they knew, you know, that they had to respect me, you know, because I would pull them to the side. But yeah, you're right, man. They need more black men to be educators.
Yeah,
you know, it do make a difference. The more you see yourself, the more you see the possibilities of your life being something. You know, it's sort of like when Obama became president.
Boom.
And you had every kid or everybody saying, "Hey, man, it's possible."
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now you see us going in every arena and every area, you know, in that political realm, holding a position. You know, so you know that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen.
I do want to ask you another question as well. Is what strategies do you guys implement as far as with Healthy Start? You know, what are some of the things y'all do as far as education and you know, functioning?
Well, we put on events like we're doing a April 20th. We're gonna have a financial event where the Tinker Federal Credit Union is going to come in, and what they do, they you know, they teach on budgeting, or they give information on how to budget, how to manage, how to bring your make your credit score better, how to you know, set yourself up as you are buying a home, you know, just being financially stable.
Right.
So you know, I'm big on that too. I believe in money management. I believe in budgeting. We do the fishing with dads, where that we bring the families together, where the dad he can bond with his children and teach them how to fish. It's a learning process. We do other. We have other events that we do through the year, and so it's just. We have birthing classes, breastfeeding classes. I mean, men need to know how to help their wives breastfeed. You know, or know about breastfeeding, where you can be able to, you know, feel that void, you know, make that difference, be that support. You know, and so, you know, just, you know, you was talking about incarcerated. You know, we have curriculum on Inside Out. You know, that's where we try to help someone that been incarcerated be able to adjust back into society, because that is a process. That's a hard thing.
That's cool. That's cool.
You know, so we have we're setting up to have parenting classes, relationship classes. We had those in the past. We have referrals. We try to refer to other programs that you know, like True Dads. True Dads is one. I can't think of them all right now, but Workforce. And so it's just to try to make the difference, and we're just there to, you know, give people a healthy start.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Trying to change that aspect of how you view things and how you implement things. With your family. So that's what it's all about, and that's what we try to do. And so the more young people we get, I think the bigger the impact, because young people are the future. And
Right.
so we work also with OCE, or far as education. If someone hasn't finished school, they can go back, get their GED, go to college. They work with them and set it up to where it's an easy process. I know when I went back to school after 20 years, man, hey, it was difficult. So you need somebody to kind of hold your hand and take you through the steps, and that's what we try to do. We try to empower people, not do it for them, but allow them to see that, hey, they have that ability to overcome, the obstacles and things that they got to deal with in life.
That's awesome, man.
Powerful.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
No, I commend you. I commend you, Wesley, because I think here at Clear Vision Podcast, we're big on solutions. And
Yeah.
so what you're doing, what you're running, I mean, that's a solution for the struggles that we have in our community. And so I commend you. I honor it, man, and just keep on pushing your message. And I'm honored for you to be here for sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
for real.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Wesley, I know you told us a little bit on how we could, attend these classes and the ways to move forward as far as, moving with Healthy Start. If you want to explain to the listeners how they can do that as well.
Okay, yeah, man, you good.
Hell yeah.
You got a script. Okay. Well, right now, we have our fatherhood sessions, and they every second and fourth Tuesday from 12 to 1. I'm also working with faith-based ministries to where that I'm gonna see if we can get something outside of the 8 to 5, say maybe on the weekend to do an hour. Also, I do one-on-ones with individuals because of their schedule and how things, are, with they, trying to function in life. So, you know, so all you have to do is call and let us know you want to be a part of the program, and then we'll try to work with your schedule. But that's when our classes are, and I have a 24/7. After we do the 24/7 a.m. Sessions, then I go into a workshop. It's called 24/7 7 Habits for Dads, and the workshop is really good because it talks about proactiveness versus reactive, being reactive. It also talks about, how that when it comes down to our position and we want things to go our way, it just give you that perspective and those tools to be able to be more effective, to be more able to have a better relationship and with the one that you're with. And that's what our problem is, I think, is
I agree.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah.
That's a
Divorce
topic.
rates are way too high.
Shoot.
That's the
Divorce rates
topic.
are way too high.
Yeah, that's part of it. Wesley, what's the number if they did want to call and join Healthy Start? I'm part of Healthy Start Visionaries, so I'm trying to get my brothers. They're going to get into it as well. We're going to be working
yeah,
together.
man, if you guys come in, man, we can have a ball.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Then we can play ball.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have our own events.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, it's awesome, bro. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Real quick, I do want to share this because it's just hit me, bro. Like the absence of the father. But what we don't realize is sometimes that just because that child doesn't have his biological father, there are community fathers that we can be.
Absolutely.
That baby has cousins, that baby has uncles, big cousins and coaches. Like John, bro, I looked at your pops as a dad growing up, bro. Like when I was on that field and when I messed up and he sent me to the tree, I learned some discipline. I'm like, damn, that's a far ass tree, But it's like, I look at that Coach Nate, man, Coach Derek, like you know, you don't think about it as a child, but whenever I grow up, like I learned, you know, as a child, I think all you want to do is be loved, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so men that love you, I feel like are father figures to you.
There you
And
go.
so when you get that, like you, man, we can do it, bro. If we come together as a community, bro,
absolutely.
like with Healthy Start, bro, if there's a bunch of fathers, a buttload of, you know, 20, 25, 30-year-old fathers there
Just
around
love.
all these kids, bro, showing love, that fixes it.
That's the change. That's the change. I agree 100%. I mean, Trevor, coming from I didn't have my dad in my life, and Javon's dad, you know, he was the father figure. Coach Blast, we were really close. Coach Blast and game. You know, Cadell's dad was a huge father figure. Even though those are two white men, I thank God for them because they taught me a lot. You know, other than my grandfather, you know what I mean. So and other coaches as well. So no, that's a big key to it. So but Wesley, can you give us the number off of the top of your head?
Okay, yes. The number is 405-427-3200.
Oh yeah.
405-427-3200. And that's that'll get you to our front desk, and then you know they will do a brief contact with you and just set it up to where you can come in, or you can just, you know, get with a case manager and we'll get you going.
And I'll make sure to put that, you know, in our little ticker at the bottom of the video multiple times, just so, you know, they just know. Do y'all have any social media platforms? Just kidding.
Yeah, we have Facebook, Instagram. I think we have a Twitter, you know, and we do Zoom. TikTok.
Oh yeah,
you gotta have the TikTok.
You in the game, Wesley. You in the game, Wesley.
Hey man, you gotta move when you know get with everybody where everybody's at.
There you go. There you go.
Get lost,
man. And Wesley, man, again, we as Clear Vision Podcast, and I'm sure our visionaries, we appreciate having you on.
Yeah,
and you know that's what, man, I love this podcast so much because one thing I feel like we do without knowing we're making it cool to be a dad, making it you know, showcase our children, but be vulnerable, not, you know, the
manly,
masculine, you know, again, like we
love our kids,
man,
bro.
you guys are taking on the torch, and you're blowing the horn that, hey, it's time for men to be able to do what they supposed to do. You know, it's time for us to be men. It's time for us to be fathers, and you know, make the difference. You know, because if you look at society and how things are going, you know, if we don't stand for something, man, we gonna fall.
Come on,
there you go. There you go.
So you know, you got to be able to hold a position, and you got to be able to make the difference for your family. You know, that's what your purpose, and that's what, you know, it's an expected outcome for your life. And so you guys just keep doing what you're doing, and it's gonna make the difference in a lot of people's life. You know, it's a song that says, if I could just help one somebody, you know, you guys are helping more than what you can imagine. You're helping more people than what you can imagine just by taking this stand and doing what you're doing.
Amen.
Thank you, man. Amen.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. Man, that's the song. I love it. Man, Wesley, we got Wesley with a healthy start, man. Again, I'm gonna put the phone number on the ticker at the bottom of the screen.
Well, I hope y'all invite me back, man. This was fun.
Definitely.
Oh yeah,
definitely, brother.
Yeah, great time.
Y'all didn't set me up right, but you know, right.
We got there.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on point next time. I can tell you what's going on.
You did a great job.
It was amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
But Trevor, where can they find us at, bro?
You can find us at Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Of course, here at YouTube, be sure to subscribe to our channel. And you know, leave a comment. You know, comment. You know what it means to you to be a father or a mother. You know, engage with us.
And Eli, bro, how can they reach us? How can they get in contact with us?
Yes, man. Leave a listener letter, man. clearvisionpod@gmail.com. clearvisionpod@gmail.com. Leave a listener letter, man. Presence. I think presence is a huge key to the topic that we're talking about. The importance of just being present as a father. Oh man, I didn't even let me get my real quick, man. Just an example of presence, man. How I even met Wesley or got to know him. I was, man, my son had a doctor's appointment. And then I was like, man, I usually go to every single doctor's appointment. That's just important to me, right? And so this doctor's appointment, I was tired. I was like, man, I'm gonna go anyway. I wanted to stay home, but something just told me to go. So I went, man, and then we met with this lady for insurance, to handle some insurance. And I had both kids. Y'all seen me rocking. I had both kids. I was, and one needed this, one needed that. I wasn't even saying nothing. I was just being with my kids while she was talking to my wife. And man, the lady was just so proud of me, man. Never met me before. I've never met her. I didn't even say a word to her. And she just asked about our story. I told her, me and my wife, we've been together for 10 years and we're married and this and that. And, I just love being a dad. And she was like, you know what you'll be perfect for? You'll be perfect for a healthy start. And just being present is how I got Wesley's number, and it shot from there. So I just thank God for that moment and for her and for meeting Wesley. But man, tell us about your presence, man, on that letter, man, that listening letter. So that's at clearvisionpod@gmail.com. And also, if you want to leave your listening letter on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, go ahead and do that. If that's easier for you, just let us know that it's your listening letter. Hit us up, man.
Yeah, and also make sure y'all follow us on Instagram at ClearVisionPod. And if you like this episode, donate $1 to Clear Vision Pod or more.
Now we're talking.
But if you like the episode, man, just donate $1 to money sign Clear Vision Pod. Wesley, again, we thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you, brother. God bless you. Thank you for your wisdom.
It was an honor having you here tonight. All right. Let's see y'all next week.
Yes, sir.